Well, good afternoon. Welcome into the WTUD studios. It's a Tuesday afternoon, noon. You know what time that is. It means it's time for some wrestling talk. The Coach Joey Simcoe show coming to you now live on WTUD. Coach, how are we doing today, sir?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself? And who'd you bring with you?
This is Jared Chambers.
Awesome.
Senior wrestler for us. 4th year, not a 5th year. Never redshirted. From Oak Harbor.
Well, Jared, welcome to the program, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're from Oak Harbor. I'm sorry, I'm messing with cameras and stuff for you. Okay, you're from Oak Harbor. It's pretty close to Tiffin, so you're probably pretty familiar with Tiffin before you came down to TU.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the path that Coach Simcoe took you on to get you down here to campus to become a Dragon.
Well, I had a kid from my high school. I'm friends with his younger brother, but his name is Jake Kramer. And he was older than me. He was on my wrestling team. And I think he kind of told Simcoe, like, hey, there's this kid from Oak Harbor. He's pretty good. You should watch him. So Simcoe watched me at state, and then he gives me a call like 2-3 days later. He goes, hey, man, I watched you wrestle one time. You look pretty good. Why don't you come down and visit? Came down, loved it. I think I came down on like a Friday. Mm-hmm. Loved it, and then I committed right after that.
It's nice to go see your kids. You're recruiting to go wrestle at state, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It was pretty neat because Jared actually won in a nasty scramble, and that's kind of what sold me is, you know, seeing him fight through adversity and being able to get the takedown for the win. And
sure.
It was a great match. I'll never forget it. And you know, I thought he was a scrambling fool at that point, but then we had to learn a little bit. But
wow. This thing's actually. Come here.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, this cable. I had to loan out some gear to some other folks, and I don't have everything I normally have here. So, but I think that's good right now. So, all right. So now you're a Dragon. What year are you here, Jared?
Senior. This is my 4th year on the team, 4th year in the classroom.
That's right. Coach said that. I guess I should be paying attention to one thing instead of 2 or 3 things. But what are you studying here?
Criminal justice, law enforcement.
What's your plans after graduation?
I'd like to get in with the DEA, but I'm not sure what path it is right now. So just trying to figure that out and figure out the best way to get there.
Wrestling going to be a part of your life for a long time, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I like going back home, and I coach in the summers. We wrestle in Florida, so I like coaching them guys up, the high school guys. So I could see myself coaching in the future, definitely.
Talk about this guy on the mat, Coach. Talk about what his strengths are, and just talk about him as a 4-year athlete for you.
Jared's probably best known for the Oak Harbor Bar series. A lot of kids from Oak Harbor run it. Kramer ran it. Jared runs it. Luke Kramer over at Ashland runs it. All the kids in high school run it.
All right.
Everybody knows it's coming, but you can't stop it. So yeah, I'd say his biggest strength is probably on top. Got a lot of pins. I can't think of how many off the top of my head, but you know he's been a clutch kid for us. You know, he always comes through when we need him, and a lot of dual meet wins have come off of Jared pinning people. And last year at National Duels, his pin against McKendry is what kind of catapulted the dual meet to put us into place.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty probably one of your most fond memories, I would assume, as a Dragon wrestler.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. Taking 8th out there at National Duels was awesome. It's the first time the team did that, and being able to be a part of that was awesome.
Now, talk, Coach, a little bit about what this young man has meant to some of the younger wrestlers, because I know we talked last time about some of the young kids you brought in, and you know the young kids, they get the coaching, that's great and all, but a lot of times kids, you know, respond a little bit better to the student athletes. You know, is this something that he's been able to help a lot of some of these younger kids along in their progression as a wrestler for the Dragons?
For sure. Jared's kind of always been an older soul, so to speak. You know, even as a freshman, he fit in with everybody really well. Kevin Crispin that was here, you know, him and Jared have always had a real close connection. So he's always been on that older path. Not so much, you know, was he ever really like a freshman. So yeah, this year, you know, this class, like Garrett was saying last week, this class is he's a big reason why they fit in so well.
Did he wrestle last weekend?
Who, Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took 2nd at the Findlay Open. He kind of tweaked something, so we ended up sitting him in the finals.
Okay.
But it was his first tournament of the year. You know, getting older, battling through a couple little injuries and things like that. So had a really good weekend, made it to the finals, and, you know, was kind of hurting a little bit. So we were smart, rather than, you know, worry about the Findlay Open title, we're worried about nationals. So
well, it seems like wrestling is something that you really, if you can't fight through adversity, you can't wrestle. Because there's no way you can't be beat up a little bit. I mean you're going, it's hand-to-hand combat. There's no way you got to be able to. If you can't fight through adversity, you can't wrestle.
Right, and that's you know, that's something I think that as a younger coach, I didn't really understand a whole lot. I'd push guys through injuries, you know, more often than I should have. And as we're getting older here, I'm getting older, they're getting older. I feel like I might be getting a little bit smarter. I'm not sure, but
at least the kids think so. It's all
right. But it's it's about the end. It's not about right now. It's about the end. And we no one remembers who won the Findlay Open. They remember who won a national title. So having Jared be as ready as possible come regionals and nationals, that's what's important.
Were you happy with how you wrestled last weekend?
Yeah. Usually I'm a late starter. I mean, every year I've been here, every year in high school, it takes me a while to get going. Even last year, I think I went 1-2 at that tournament. So I was pretty pleased with second place. I mean, it takes me a while to get going, and I jumped right into it this weekend. So
what do you attribute that to, you think?
I don't know. I think it's just the way we've been working out. I mean, previous years we've gone hard right from the get-go, just 100% right away. And this year we kind of eased into it just a little bit. And I don't know, I guess maybe a little mindset. This is last year, last go. Got to push it.
Kind of how your preseason workouts goes, it just kind of built according to what you have that same year. It's not like you rigid regiment every year. You kind of got to fit it to your kids, right?
No. So that's what I mean about getting smarter. So when I was coming up, we opened up with these things called wheelbarrow push-ups, and my coach had us do them on concrete, right? So that was the first thing we did, was a 2-mile run on the knees, and a bunch of kids left that day with concrete burns on their face every year, tore up hands, and it was this mentality of just being super tough all the time.
Right.
And I think, as a young coach, I was very much on the same path, because it's what I knew. So as I've gotten older and I've talked to other people and just what the body can actually handle, and it's just smarter to build them up rather than to tear them down and try to rebuild. So that's just kind of been the consensus for this year. It's gotten easier as we've gone on, but this year definitely was I think the easiest one yet, but we're seeing the best results so far, so I think we're on the right path.
Do you think part of it is you can maybe take it a little bit easier when you got the kids who are willing to put the work in the off season and come in ready, so kind of takes away some of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't have to build as much. They already have a nice little foundation, and these guys do a pretty good job. I mean, most of them work in the summer, so they only get a few days a weekend, if that. But they all did a pretty good job of staying somewhat in shape and somewhat healthy and making pretty good choices all in all. So, and most of them don't work a 9-to-5 office type position. Like, he was a general laborer this summer, and one dude does asphalt all summer, and other dude's roof. They're making good money. They're working hard, and they're coming in with a better mindset. So it makes it easier.
Let's talk about the rest of your wrestlers at the Findlay Open over the weekend.
Oh wow. So Garrett. I'll start with him because so last year he lost to the Mercyhurst kid in the All-American round.
That's what I was trying to get to. Good job.
And so Garrett wrestled him in the finals this weekend, and I think it was 6-2 or 6-1 was the score. But Garrett dominated the match.
6-2, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, he looked good. Kid was in on a couple really nice shots. Garrett defended very well and was able to reattack and kind of set the tone. This year he's really been pushed. Guys aren't wrestling him to actually beat him. They're wrestling him not to lose, right?
Right.
So it's a different mindset. And he's had to win a lot of matches by a point, 2 points, where he's used to pinning people.
Sure.
So that was huge win. Crowd got all chippy. It was pretty sweet. And then let's go back to the bottom. Hunter Langlow. We ended up medical forfeiting him out. He kind of took a shot to the head that we just wanted to be safe. But
again, better safe than sorry. It's not like the Findlay Open.
Right. But he was in like the 7-8 spot. They didn't wrestle that match, but had he wrestled, that's where he'd have been. With the forfeit, whatever. But he pinned a kid from Cleveland State that's like their I don't know if it's their 1 or 2 guy, but he's fighting for the starting spot. Wrestled really tough, lights out. He's true freshman, so he's a really tough kid. 41, we had another freshman wrestle really well. Brian Laverne beat a returning national qualifier. Looked really good. Hammer on top, so once he gets a few more things on his feet, that kid's going to be pretty unstoppable. And then at 49, we kind of had a cool thing. Trey Grine and Mikey Skreptok both made the semis.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty cool. We got we got plans for them. It's one of the cats I'm not letting out of the bag yet as to what's going to happen. But so Mikey wrestled a kid from Wheeling Jesuit, got a pretty crappy call out of a scramble. Kid ended up getting 4 points. Mikey loses the match. He should have been in the finals. Trey wrestles that kid in the finals. Kid hits a full Nelson to put Trey on his back for a 4-point near fall. So 2 bad calls beat us by the same kid. But so Trey ended up second. We forfeited Mikey out to 4th. 57, Sammy made his debut of the year. He lost a tough one in the semis. He got caught for 6 off the whistle and climbed back, and ended up losing a close match. But it was good. He wrestled really well, but he battled some adversity. Got a loss out of the way, so didn't have to worry about being perfect.
Sure.
65, Richie wrestled really well. 74, another true freshman, Nick Mason. He made it to the semis, wrestled a returning national qualifier, and kind of got another iffy call on a reversal. But it was a Finley kid that he's ranked in the country. So Nick realistically should have put the match into overtime, but we can't win every call. So wrestled great though for a true freshman.
Sounds like a trend has begun here.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. It's like a referee, everything's on judgment.
Sure.
It's a lot. Like I think in basketball, football, you can see a foul, you can see a hold. In wrestling, it's so split second that I think a lot of times calls get missed. And beginning of the year, refs are getting back in their groove too.
No doubt.
Come January, these calls probably wouldn't have been this way. That's what I mean. Like it was a rough call. So yeah, it was just a great weekend. And Jared was in the finals, and Garrett, like I said, he avenged that loss. So it just an all around great weekend. A lot of placers and.
Yeah, Jared, Coach mentioned, not only upperclassmen like yourself, but also the freshmen. Talk a little bit about that change going from a high school athlete to a freshman in college, and talk about that then from the freshman aspect to where you are now. Talk about those transitions.
I'd say the biggest thing coming in as a freshman is like the whole tempo, the speed of which you have to keep up. It's crazy, and to adjust that, it's really hard at the beginning. Well, it was for me, but these guys are hammers. They're coming in here and competing right away. Way better than I expected them to. So. And
then take a look at from being a freshman to where you are now.
I mean, going as you get older, it's more of a mindset that you're better. I think it's more of a mindset that you're better than them, and you're just going to keep pushing the pace, keep pushing the tempo, and no matter what he does, he's not going to stop you. And I think just once you get it in your head that you're better than your opponent, he can't stop you.
How much of it is confidence in wrestling?
A lot of it. I'd say wrestling's probably about 90% mental.
Is that true, Coach, about where you'd say it?
Yeah, for sure. It's if you don't believe you're going to win, you're not going to.
And that's something you probably have to take into account when you're recruiting kids as well. I mean, not only what they do on the mat, but that's why that interaction face-to-face, you can get a good read on that kid, whether he has it upstairs or not, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. And, we talk a lot of trash back and forth.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. There's some there's conversations that if other people heard, they'd be like, wow.
Right,
right. But, we Conor McGregor, like that kind of trash talk that he does.
Yeah, he's not afraid to let it fly. That's
no, and that's. I mean, we do that to each other. And it's 99% jokes, but at the root of it, you still got to have that confidence level that, when I go out there, I'm going to dominate this guy. So.
Well, and you're speaking of the relationship that you have with your student athletes too, and it's good to have that relationship where you can talk to them like just another dude, another guy, but then be able to separate that into there comes a point where it's coach and player, or coach and student athlete.
Absolutely, and we have that. That's what I think is so cool about our team. And
I think you guys are unique on campus. I mean, wrestling's a unique sport. You got to be a unique dude to be a wrestler. I mean, that goes without saying. That's why I won't look at who I'm talking to right here.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying. But I think all in all, I mean, you guys seem to have. Like that brotherhood, I guess, is kind of what a good word to use to describe it.
And that's what we say all the time. It's we say family, we mean it. And we don't. Yeah, there's no other way to say it. The brotherhood.
Yeah. What's your expectations for us this year, Jared? Both personally and team.
Personally, I'd like to be an All-American. It's my last shot.
Sure.
I want to place top 4. Get on the podium. As a team, I think nothing other than national champs. I think we got a lot of talent on our team. A lot of guys that work hard, and if we put it all together, we'll be fine.
It's hard work and discipline. What else is it besides that will take you guys to get to that level?
I think after hard work and discipline, it's just guys believing. Just everyone believing in one cause, and everyone putting it together at the right time. So if we all get it together at the end of the season, I think we should do all right.
You got any good plans for Thanksgiving weekend coming up?
Eating a lot.
Eating a lot? Is that all right, Coach?
Yeah, he don't cut very hard, so he's all right.
My weight's pretty good, so.
Were you going to get a chance to see a lot of family and things like that?
Yeah, I'll go home tonight after practice and then be back Friday. Get back on the wrestling grind.
How about you, Coach? You going to get a chance to spend some time with family?
Yeah, we're heading down to Columbus on Thursday. That's where I'm from. My wife works this weekend, or that's her holiday, so she's not going to make it with us. So we're doing our own thing tomorrow night. But yeah, we'll get to hang out a little bit.
Well, you talk about the family and the brotherhood of the wrestling program, but it's good to be able to have that family outside of the program too, because you need both sides to be able to lean on. I mean, you are an athlete, but you're a student athlete as well. Because sometimes you need that support staff from both directions if you can get it. That's what's still difficult about being a student athlete. I mean, Jared, you can attest to that. It's hard enough to be a college student, but then put student athlete in a time that, especially as a wrestler, the discipline. Have you been able to take that discipline from what you're learning in the wrestling room to the classroom?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, wrestling, I think, teaches you a lot of discipline. Maybe more than any other sport. I'm not going to dog on any other sports, but it teaches you a lot about discipline, and keeping your grades in order definitely takes a lot of discipline too. So I think they kind of go hand in hand.
I'm sure you preach that to them as well, Coach, don't you?
I do, and there's a guy by the name of Ken Shirto. He runs these like mega camps and stuff like that, and he was an Olympian, very good wrestler, and he always says, "Don't be a dumb jock," right? Mm-hmm. Like. And that's something that we push pretty hard, like myself, I was a 3-time All-American. I don't have any of my All-American stuff. That's at my parents' house. The only thing I have is when I achieved the academic All-American, I have that. That's what, to me, I expected to be a wrestling All-American. I expected to be a national champ. I never expected that I would earn that. So that's what I tell these guys all the time. Like, it's about the piece of paper. It's about getting that piece of paper and becoming the best young men we can be.
Absolutely, yeah, and then becoming great ambassadors for not only Tiffin University, but Tiffin University wrestling program as well. And that's what's great about bringing in such quality kids to be your student athletes, is that they are not only wear the uniform while they're here, but they wear it underneath their professional uniform when they leave Tiffin University campus as well.
Absolutely, and Jared, he's been a great one. Like I was saying, we signed some kids from Oak Harbor. We signed three of their seniors this year, and Jared was kind of a part of that because he coached those teams. He went back and was wearing Tiffin wrestling stuff, and it got it out there. And it helps. These guys do a lot for us that goes unseen.
What was Oak Harbor's wrestling program? I'm not real familiar with the wrestling.
They're pretty
program.
Good. My freshman and sophomore year, I think we were runners-up in the state to St. Paris Graham Powerhouse. They went. I think
they're pretty good usually.
Maybe 15 years in a row or something like that. Something crazy. My junior year, we finished 7th, and then senior year, we finished, I think, 5th or 6th. But they're poised for a state title run this year, I believe. I tell them that all the time, but it's whether they believe it or not.
Well, it's exactly. You just went right back to your point that you made earlier. It's about believing in yourself, and sometimes you need that outside voice to remind you of that you have the abilities to get those jobs done, and then getting out there and believing in yourself and taking care of it yourself. So
yeah, they're good boys. Good program, great coach, great feeder system. We've had Jared and Jake in our starting lineup.
Does that happen? I mean, you get a couple guys from a high school, and you're like, man, these are just good kids. They came here prepared. I need to go back there and look and see what else they have going on at that place. Yeah,
absolutely. Some of my goals to break into when I took over was Toledo Central Catholic. Mm-hmm. We got one. That's Sammy. Oak Harbor. Him and Kramer were the first two, and then I wanted to get into Graham, and we got Hayden Bronny, and the other one from the local area was Oregon Clay, and that's Garrett, Mikey, and Richie. So getting into those programs was huge, and starting that pipeline, to keep the kids local and keep them interested.
Yeah, the feeder system, like you said. I think it is important at a school like Tiffin University, no matter what the sport is, to at least grab a couple local kids. I mean, use basketball as an example. Maybe find the best kid in the county who's not getting recruited to play at a bigger school, and bring him in. See if you can build him. Nothing else, you're building camaraderie with those local, towns, local communities, and when you're at a school like Tiffin University, the fans you can get, right?
Right, absolutely, and that's and we're trying to do that. That was one of the things, like I said, I really wanted to do is I wanted to establish local and then reach out. We have we've had multiple kids from Tiffin Columbian. We got a couple from Fremont right now, and working on some more for the future. Mm-hmm. And that's really in this area. This is a hotbed of wrestling. I think it gets overlooked some because we're not Cleveland. We're not that. That powerhouse, but we have plenty of good kids around here that can make noise, and you get them all on one team, and you wind up ranked 10th in the country.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
great young man like Mr. Chambers here. Jared, thank you so much for coming into the program here and chatting with us. Wish you nothing but best of luck your rest of your senior year, and have a great Thanksgiving holiday. Eat a lot, but make sure you come back ready to wrestle when Coach has you here. What do the kids get off? What do they get to go home for?
So they're going to leave today after practice, and then we have that American Pride youth tournament this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that. We set up Friday, like 4-ish. We're gonna start set up, and then they wrestle Saturday, Sunday. So they'll be here, but it's gonna be a little bit relaxed, not like grinding, you know.
What are you looking forward to more? The Thanksgiving dinner, or sleeping in your own bed for a couple days?
Thanksgiving dinner.
And
My
then
bed's pretty comfy here, so I'm excited to eat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, guys, happy Thanksgiving to you. Coach, thank you so much for coming in today, and enjoy your holiday. Then come back ready to work, and then we'll talk again next week, and you can tell us how the youth tournament went and get us ready for what's coming up here as we finish out the 2016 year. So
Awesome. Thank you, Russ. Happy holidays.
no problem. Thank you guys so much, and we'll do it again real soon. This has been the Joey Simcoe Show right here on your home for Tiffin University Athletics. That's TUDragonRadio.com.